Watching beam, you feel like everything has to be perfectly straight, perfectly in line. You can't have anything off. And it is that way, honestly.
We saw her at summer camps. We saw her in competitions locally and nationally.
I just remember watching her compete with this confidence that was like, wow, this girl loves being on the beam.
And we knew that BYU was of interest to her, and we wanted her on our team.
We trained through the whole preseason her freshman year, and Elease is amazing. And technically, she could do everything we were asking her to do. But when we would put her in pressure situations as a freshman, she would just crumble.
Whenever I was approaching the beam my freshman year, I would say a prayer. But then after that, I kind of didn't have specific thoughts in my head. It was probably something like, you have to hit this, you have to impress guard, you have to prove yourself. But then I kept not doing as well as I hoped.
I think she had a lot of doubt. She was overwhelmed, clearly. This is big-time gymnastics.
And my first beam inner squat, I started my beam routine and I fell twice. I was so nervous that my body, I don't know, my legs just stopped working. And then I also fell off on a turn, which is also such an easy skill, but I was so nervous that all I could think about was all the other things.
And I remember guard coming to me and saying, can she really do this? And I was like, yes, she can do this, guard. I know she's got it in her.
You know, based on the training she did and the falls she was having in preseason, yeah, there was clearly doubts. Could she handle the big moments? But she kept working at it. And Natalie just kept putting her arm around her and loving her and teaching her. And she was a sponge. She was taking in that information.
That was when I was like, I need to do something. So then during finals week, we have open training, and I did 10 routines a day, which is a lot in gymnastics.
If I'm saying to her, okay, this needs to be better, she's like, how does it need to be better? What do I need to do exactly to fix that? And then she'll do, 20 more.
Because I was like, I really want to be in lineup. I really obviously want to be on the team. So I just worked hard, and then from there it was when I kind of flipped a switch.
What we did was we exhibitioned her in the first few meets of the season, and you could literally see her shaking on the beam. And I was just like, oh no, are we gonna get her to that place where she can actually be a competitor?
Beam is one of the hardest ones to coach, because in the gym, they look great. And they're in their own comfort of their own walls and their own lights and their own ceiling. And then you take it out on the big stage and everything just gets huge and grand. And can you handle those moments?
We just kept putting her in pressure situation after pressure situation. There's loud music, there are lights, their boyfriend might be in the stands, their mom might be there. They don't want to disappoint their team. They're wondering what the judges are thinking of them. But if they can just bring their focus back to those mental cues, they will perform better.
I am quick, I'm strong, and I'm powerful. I'm going to hit this, but I tell myself that I am those things to force my body to be more than it is, probably.
After a few meets, she was going in, she was looking more comfortable, and then she was outscoring some of the players we had in our lineup.
And then by her sophomore year, she was a star on the balance beam.
To become an NCAA All-American, it's not easy. Schools like Oklahoma and UCLA and Florida and Alabama and Georgia and University of Utah, that's where the star athletes are going, right? The star gymnasts, the Olympians. To say I want to be an NCAA All-American means I'm going to compete with those kids.
That year, I put it down as one of my goals. And it was it's kind of out of reach, and it's not really something that you can control because it's based off of your score.
It's one thing to say it, but it's whole nother level to do it.
What she's capable of is kind of blossomed over the last year or two, where she's like, oh, wow. I didn't know all those days and moments where I just kind of chose to keep pushing along, they would turn into something like this much fun.
You can honestly achieve anything if you work hard enough and if you believe in yourself.
It's just an incredible journey to watch her go from being talented, but then actually transforming that into being a competitor. I think she takes advantage of the moments she has here, and she'll be able to come back with no regrets 20 years from now and say, it was pretty awesome to be a Cougar gymnast.